So, having worked in the IT industry for more than a couple of decades, maybe three, maybe more, what we historically did was we started off with this thing called a business case, which is we said we're going to spend some money. Why are we going to spend that money? How are we going to work out whether or not we're going to get any value from it? And ultimately, what are we going to achieve and how are we going to track that benefit? Lots of AI and GenAI initiatives have jumped past that phase and just got allocated money.
Yeah.
So of course, we ended up creating wonderful initiatives that use this great technology. We deployed them, and either they didn't achieve what we thought they were going to do, nobody really uses them, or everyone thinks they're great, but we don't actually know whether or not they're improving efficiency. Whenever I talk about AI initiatives, I talk about three things. I say, if you want to work out whether or not something is going to add you value, you have to be able to measure it.
Yeah.
If you're going to measure it, you have to make it repeatable. And if you're going to make it repeatable, you have to make it automatable. And that means that you need a proper life cycle associated with how you drive AI and Gen AI initiatives, because you want to get that measurability so you can track that back to the original business case around why you did this thing in the first place.
Wow. So, what you've said actually just shows that, they need a framework to cut through the noise, right? Either a business case or an AI, a very clear data and AI strategy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we at Server to do very frequently is we engage with organisations. We do some engagement around maturity. So some
Yes.
organisations will have differing levels of maturity around how they can embrace this technology. Then we work around, right, okay, what are you trying to do? And it isn't about use cases. So I'm not a fan of the use case driven approach. I'll explain
Yes.
why. You can buy the best use case that you can possibly find, unless you have the data to put into it that's structured in the right way, has the right variety, has the right velocity, has the right veracity, is in the right locations with the right management around it. You can't do that use case. So if anyone comes to try and sell you a use case, it's because they're selling you a use case. They're not selling you an AI. They're
Yeah.
not tackling a problem using AI.
Yeah. And it's true, right? Because I believe that you need to be thinking about building the foundational capability, right? It's not just taking something in isolation and only looking at one solution, building it, and then it sits on its own. You want to have a strong bedrock to build on.
And you mentioned a great point as well, integration.
Yeah.
If you're going to take this thing, you're going to integrate it into a collection of existing business processes in order to make it function. Now, AI is an absolutely transformative technology. And if you do build it in the right kind of way, it will give you clear market differentiation. However, AI is probabilistic, which means that
Yeah.
there is a probability that it's going to get it wrong. You need to understand that to understand whether or not you're willing to take the level of risk associated with deploying AI into your organization. Because, so you could say, well, HLP, human level performance, if I get an AI that outperforms humans, so it's going to perform better than the average person executing that business process, then it's a fit. Where the challenge comes is the fact that AIs can do it at significantly greater speed and scale. So if it is going to get it wrong, it's going to get it wrong at a greater speed and scale, which means it becomes increasingly important to make sure that you've got the right data that you're using with these algorithms to give you a very high degree of confidence that the level of error is low. And when you are having errors, you've wrapped it in the right technology stacks that can spot those errors, feed that back into the process to allow you to correct them.
Yeah.
Again, all of these sort of characteristics have lived in the software engineering world for a long time, and I see lots of AI initiatives that are skipping some of these software engineering disciplines that we've used to successfully build massive scale systems for decades.
Yeah.
So let's take some of that rigor that we applied historically in the software engineering world and put that into the AI space. And as a result, we'll end up with significantly higher degrees of success, and we'll understand where we're not getting that success and can take corrective action.